All right. Happy Saturday, guys. So we're back at it. Let's go. To start, we have a 6-minute AMRAP. So you're going to do, for a warm-up, you're going to do 5 prone I's, Y's, and T's. So you're going to lay down on the ground. You're going to create the letter I, and you are going to repeat it for 5 reps, keeping your head and your chest on the ground, like this. 5 I's, followed by 5 Y's, followed by 5 T's. That didn't come today. Okay. So that's the first part of your warm-up. Part 2 of your warm-up. Barrel rolls. So part 2 of your warm-up is going to be 5 Kang squats. So feet in your squat stance. Toes turned out slightly. Again, back is flat, shoulders pinned, belly tight. I'm going to hinge to a good morning position, get a little stretch. Sit down into a squat position, hold for a second, back to my good morning, and then squeeze my butt to stand. After that, you've got 10 air squats. So again, same exact stance you were in for the Kang squat. Full depth, press the knees out the whole time actively, stand up. Then you've got 10 vertical jumps. And again, for there, we're just looking to prime violent hip extension for the snatches, which are coming up next. So again, load to a hang position. Shins vertical, hips back, chest comes down a little bit, and then just follow through, squeeze the butt super hard, jump as high as you can. And you're just gonna run through that for 6 minutes. After that, we have a little bit of technique work. So I'm gonna get my handy dandy Libman. This is my Libman. It's a brand of the broom, I don't know. So what we got today, guys, if you have a barbell, fantastic. You can use a barbell for these drills. Otherwise, again, we just want to make sure that you don't forget how to snatch. You don't forget how to clean. So we're going to prime all these movements with, again, a object. So broomstick will work just fine, rake, whatever you got. So what we're going to do, you're going to do 3 sets of 3 muscle snatches and 3 snatch balance. So for the muscle snatch, what we've got going on, reminder, snatch grip means that I can move my knees without that barbell moving with nice straight arms. Once I've got that set, my muscle snatch, we're going to do that from 3 different positions. So we're going to muscle snatch from the hip, we're going to muscle snatch from the hang, and then we're going to muscle snatch from the mid shin. So what we're looking for, when I do a muscle snatch from the hip, what we're going to do is you're just going to send the knees forward, chest stays up. And from right here, all I'm going to do is bring the bar nice and high by keeping my elbows up as I turn over, and I'm going to punch and extend overhead. And again, when I do a muscle snatch or a muscle clean, there's no rebend. So it's just knees forward and then extend, fast elbows all the way overhead. Once I'm done there, I'm going to come into hang position. So from there, I'm going to press my hips back so that barbell comes down to just above my knee. And then from here, the most important thing I'm going to chase is this position. So a bent knee, PVC pipe at my hip, shoulders behind the bar. Once I get to here, I'm going to continue through with that same violent hip extension and quick turnover. So again, at speed, what I'm looking for from the hang, up, and then you're going to come down to the mid shin and we're going to do the exact same thing. So to start, again from here, press the hips back to the hang. From here, I'm going to drive my knees out, keep my eyes up. That's going to help keep my chest up. And then again, I'm just going to search those 2 positions that I was in before. So I'm going to try and find the hang, find this bent knee hip, and then extend and drive overhead. At speed, you're going to go through again 1 muscle snatch from the high hang, 1 muscle snatch from the hang, 1 muscle snatch from the mid shin. When you finish your last muscle snatch, you're going to bring the PVC pipe or the bar to your back, and then from here, we're going to do 3 snatch balance. So for the snatch balance, what you're going to do is you are going to start with your feet right underneath your hips, where they would be in a starting position for an Olympic lift. From there, you're going to dip just a little bit. So basically, we're just going to send the knees forward, and then we're going to jump to a squat and try and jump under the bar. So again, dip, jump under the bar out to a squat position, and stand all the way back up. from the side, what you'll notice is that the bar or the broom doesn't move up very much. So it stays roughly where it is. I'm not doing this and then squatting down after it. So I'm trying to keep that bar or PVC pipe about where it is, and I'm trying to focus on moving under it. So again, you're going to do 3 rounds, 3 muscle snatches from the hip, from the hang, from the mid shin, and then 3 snatch balances off the back. She hates brooms and vacuums. I don't know why. So once you're done there, that's going to be your warm-up, and that's going to prime a lot of the positions that we're looking for during the strength work. So if you have a barbell, fantastic. You can use your barbell to load up a little bit. If you don't, again, we're just going to work on our technique and make sure we don't forget how to do these things. So you're going to do 5 sets of a 2-position snatch. So you're going to snatch off the floor, you're going to bring that bar back to your hip, and then you're going to snatch from the hang. So a couple things that we want to try and keep in mind. Again, the warm-up, we hit this position right here, so bent knee power. We hit the hang, where that bar is nice and close to my thighs. And then we had our start position, where the knees were pressed out and the chest up. When I lift, my job is to try and hit all 3 of those positions. So when I go through my snatch off the floor, I want to go slow enough that I make this transition and that bar stays close to my thigh. I want to feel that contact with my hip, with my chest nice and tall, and I want to get fully extended before I start to drop down into my squat position. So from there, you'll bring the bar back to your hip. We're going to load down to the top of the knee. I should be keeping my eyes up the whole time. I'm going to search for my hip crease, nice and tall, and then all the way down into my squat. So what that'll look like at speed is, again, from the floor, reset, from the hang. You're going to go through 5 sets. So once you're done there, that's your strength work or your technique work for the day. After that, we have our workouts. You get 2 beautiful workouts to start your Saturday. So what you're going to do is we have 2 AMRAPs. It's going to take 20 minutes total. So you have a 10-minute AMRAP. You're going to do an infinity ladder. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. Keep going for 10 minutes. You're going to do 2 kettlebell or dumbbell snatches, alternating arms. You're going to do 2 goblet squats. You're going to do 2 burpees. And then 4, 4, 4, 6, 8, and again, keep working your way up. So for the kettlebell or the dumbbell snatch, you're going to alternate arms, and it's total repetitions. So if I have 2 reps, that means 1, switch, 2. Then I've got 2 goblet squats. Again, object comes to the front rack, full depth, all the way back up. And then I've got 2 burpees. And again, just normal burpees. So chest and hips and neck. Full extension at the top, no dolphins. So a couple points of performance for these movements that we're going to be looking for. Again, for the burpee, maintain a rigid midline, so try not to relax on the floor too much. Try not to slouch and release the core and then really overarch on your way up. You want to try and maintain a decent plank position, so maintain some midline engagement while you do those. Working back up the board for your goblet squat. Again, I want to keep that object high up on my chest to help encourage a high, a chest tall squat position. And then when I sit down, again, I really want to try and screw my feet in, press the knees out so that my chest can stay nice and tall as I come down, and then squeeze my butt on the way up out of that squat. Then we've got the dumbbell or the kettlebell snatch. For those, remember, you don't have to muscle snatch it. So what I mean by that is when I get into my start position, I'm going to have to drop my hips down a little bit because I have the object way lower to the ground than I'm used to. But I still want to maintain this neutral spine. From there, I want to stand slow, and then I want to jump through the middle part, and I drop down into a quarter squat and stand back up. Then I'll switch hands, back to the ground. Same thing on the other side. So that's for your first workout. After that, you get 3 minutes rest, and then you're going to do a 7-minute AMRAP of 50 double unders or 50 mountain climbers. If you're going to do mountain climbers, it's going to be 25 on each side. Double unders, you can definitely scale the reps. This is meant to be a workout, so 7 minutes, 50 dubs, 15 push-ups. Hopefully you're gonna get a lot of rounds and reps here. So we're looking at like 5, 6, 7 rounds or more. So pick a number of double unders that you can do consistently in about 30 to 45 seconds, and then pick a push-up scale that you can do in 2 to 3 sets at most. So for the double unders, again, scale the reps or do mountain climbers. After the double unders, you've got your push-ups, and again, you're always gonna try and, I recommend modifying hands on an elevated surface. So hands on an armchair, something like that. I'm gonna maintain my plank position. I'm gonna keep my elbows close to my body. I'm gonna make contact with my bra line, so nice and low below my nipples. And now I'm gonna press all the way back up to full extension, maintaining that tension in my midline the whole time. So those are your workouts. 2 scores. Once you're done there, we've got a little ab pump. So what you're gonna do, 3 rounds on a clock. So you're gonna work 45 seconds on each movement, followed by a minute of rest. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 45 seconds of straight leg sit-ups. So legs are nice and straight. My finishing position is gonna be 90 degrees. I'm gonna sit back, and ideally, no assistance, I'm gonna sit up. If you need to, you can use a little bit of an arm swing on the way up. That's totally fine, but again, ideally, try and avoid that. After 45 seconds of those, you're gonna do 45 seconds of leg raises. So down on the ground, and I'm just gonna keep my legs straight, all the way up, control down, touch the heels, back up. And if you need to for these, you can bend the legs a little bit to make it a little bit easier on yourself. So that's gonna be your next movement. After that, you've got 45 seconds of Russian twists. So for the Russian twist, feet are gonna be up, knees are up, holding a V position right here. And then try and think about touching your elbows to the ground on the sides of you. So again, I'm looking for really a lot of rotating from my midline. I'm not looking for this. So I don't want to see you just touching the ground with your hands. And then after the 45-second Russian twist, you're gonna hop over for a 45-second plank. So for the plank, you can do hands or elbows today. It's up to you guys. But most important thing is that I've got a straight line maintained, shoulders are nice and active, and the arms are locked out. Once I'm done that 45-second plank, I'm gonna go into 1 minute of rest. So 45 seconds, straight leg sit up, 45-second leg raises, 45 seconds Russian twist, 45-second plank, 1 minute rest, and you're gonna go through that 3 times. When you're done there, our mobility is a long saddle pose to really open up the core and the hips from a lot of work today, and no boobs. Sit down, sit down. So for the saddle pose, what we're gonna do is feet are gonna be just outside your hips. We're gonna sit down and stretch out the knees and the ankles to start, and then we're just gonna start to lean back a little bit. So we're gonna lean back to try and add a little bit more intense stretch to the thighs and the hip flexors, and then you can lay back as far as you like, and we're gonna go on a 4-minute clock, so 4 minutes total. That's it to finish up your training week this week. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Get